Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ed Harold, your fearless leader, and welcome to another Life with Breath Expert Series. Today, I'm joined by a colleague of mine, Lotte, who's on the new Breast Source app with me that's slowly taking over the world so that people can live a happier, healthy, more vibrant lifestyle. So welcome, Lotte.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's a
Where did you
pleasure.
get that great accent?
Sorry?
Where did you get that great accent?
Well, I'm from Denmark,
Denmark.
Copenhagen. So, actually, a little small country, So, but we need to understand English, and speak English. Otherwise, we can't survive being a small country. But we speak our own language. Yes, it's very strange.
You know,
So
I
that
love
is
the
yeah.
I love the Danish artwork. The artists
All right.
of Denmark, they're amazing in how they
Mm.
paint the scenery of your country.
Thanks. That's true. It's very nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
became familiar with Danish art with a ambassador that I worked with
Mhm.
when I was younger. His name was John Loeb, Ambassador John Loeb, and he was
Mm.
appointed the ambassador of the United States to Denmark in
Mm.
the 80s. And he
Mm.
was a fascinating man, but he fell in love with Denmark and its people.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm.
So you are a breath expert.
True.
You have studied extensively and worked with great breath masters throughout Europe, and you've
Mm.
incorporated that into your world. And then you're teaching so many people how to use the breath to live a more vibrant, happy, healthy life. And I just congratulate you for that work because it's hard.
Mm.
A lot of people are waking up to the fact that the breath actually is the master key to me and me understanding me and being the person who I know I can be more often.
True. And
So
it's very simple actually.
it really, it's amazing how simple it is if you just
Yeah.
have some basic interest in wanting to get to know yourself better.
Right.
So what, now I know you have your brand is called 3D Breathing.
True.
What a great name, 3D
Yeah.
Breathing.
Thank you. Thank you. It's just how we breathe. I mean, it's how we're designed to breathe. Yeah.
So
Uh,
there's lots of different styles and there's lots of different techniques and
mm.
gosh, there's as many ways to breathe as there is stars in the sky.
Mm.
It's amazing. What are some of the techniques that you like to meet people with and improve the quality of their health and wellness?
Mhm. Well, basically, my background as a physiotherapist,
Right.
back in 1998, I graduated, and I after that year, I worked with many different people around the world from many other educational areas, being inspired about how the body really is designed to move. I mean, move, function, breathe, all the way into neurology. So my breath, the way I use the breath and the way I teach breath practically since the last 15 years is not a technique. I mean, I do not teach a specific technique. If I should pronounce it a technique, it is 3D breath actually, because,
Mhm.
but I don't like it to be a technique because it's how you're designed to breathe. I mean, your lungs, your diaphragm, is three dimensional. And the
Mhm.
way it distributes in your body, the way you feel it, the way you sense it inside and outside is three dimensional.
Mhm.
So I build my exercises, the way I work practically upon how I can kind of, how I can not release is not the right word, how I can make that 3D breath we are all designed to use optimally, fully, how I can free it up, how I can make a body feel easier around the breath, that the breath does not have that many restrictions.
Mhm.
And right now, I talk about physical restrictions.
Mhm.
There are mental restrictions also. That is all playing together. It's nothing separate, but right now I'm just kind of addressing the physical um, um, part of the breathing. So I build up my exercises upon how the diaphragm moves, of course, how the lungs work, and how I practically can help people to release that. I mean, I use balls, for example, like this
Mhm.
soft filled balls that you can retract with air. You can retract air from it. You can push more air into it, pump more air into it, etc. You can use it everywhere around the 3D breath. So it's more into fascial release, joint tissue release. Um, and I use towels, for example, rolled towels. I use hands, also imagery, of course. And I use a lot of positions. I mean, right now we're just sitting. That is vertical to gravity.
Mhm.
That creates one kind of a feeling and functional use of your breath. And when you are in different positions with your body to gravity, and when you place the diaphragm and the lungs in different positions, your breath is challenged differently,
Right.
and you kind of move your biomechanics differently also. So
Mhm.
I work much with the biomechanical um, mindset
Mhm.
when I work with breathing, actually, because I also find that as a basis of kind of working into the mental area of breath. Because if you are not really in the body, but you're just not just, but if you keep staying in your brain and thinking and trying to reach a certain count in your breath, or trying to reach a certain feeling, but your body doesn't really follow, it doesn't talk together, kind of, then it's going to be a hard time changing anything. And also your mental, I mean, the history of you and all that is stored in your tissue, and definitely in your fascial tissue. There's a lot of connections into how you are in life, how you feel, how your mental, psychological status, health are going on right now. All right.
That's so well said.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot of words, but I'm trying to combine stuff, theory wise and practically is also what I do. But I really focus a lot on, first of all, the consciousness around breath. That makes sense. You need to know that you're breathing. You need to be able to be aware. Then I work with turning on the diaphragm. That is my second pillar. I use 7 pillars of my 3D breathing. That was the second pillar because I really need to, I mean, turn on the diaphragm somehow. You can do that in many, many different ways. Then I
the
do,
diaphragm is such an interesting
yeah,
muscle,
it
and it's
is.
not
It is.
really looked at
No,
in the medical world or the athletic world
no,
with as much attention
no.
as I think the average layperson should be
I mean,
aware of.
no, I mean it's a unique muscle. It's working 24/7 all life.
Right.
That's how it's designed to work, and it's like a bowel, and it's like three-dimensional everything. And then I work actually with the third pillar is the fascial tissue reset, and then the fourth is I free up the airways, and that's all from where the air floats in. I work with exercises freeing up everything
That's
through the
great.
throat. Yeah, I love it. And hopefully you can feel it. And then I work with 3D integration. What is that? It is, I mean, trying to integrate upper lower body somehow into lungs and diaphragm. And then I work with core integration. I think this part, my sixth pillar, is a little bit forgotten in a lot of breath work. also this integrational part, the core integration, we all need. We don't need to be sports people or athletics to use core. We all need our core muscles. I mean, the abs, the pelvic floor, the back, the diaphragm to work together. Just while I sit here, I really need endurance and a very functional core to hold myself upright while standing, sitting, moving. In 24/7 movements during my day, I need my core. And the core depends on one muscle. Now we talked about the diaphragm. So the core depends on the diaphragm function. If the diaphragm does not work optimally, three-dimensional all the way around, also in the back part of the muscle, you will not engage your core well. So
Yeah,
that
because you don't
breathing
even, your
is
core doesn't
really,
really
yeah.
talk to you.
Sorry?
Your core doesn't really talk to you like
Definitely not.
I'm doing a curl and I can feel the
Yeah.
two muscles of the bicep head moving. The
Mm.
core is actually like a silent part of us, and you don't realize that you've disconnected from your core as quickly as you would another group of muscles. It's very, very interesting. It goes about its business very quietly.
Definitely. And the diaphragm, my point is that the diaphragm is the muscle that tells how the core works and how you are able to hold yourself. It's not only about oxygen, etc., etc. It is also about how you're able to hold yourself upright to gravity.
How much
So that
energy
is,
how much
yeah, how much,
energy can you hold with a resting heart rate will be a huge determination about the quality of your focus, your attention, your ability to pay attention and push through resistance
mm,
as there's stress on the various systems.
mm, right. Then I have my seventh pillar in the seven pillars of 3D breathing, and that is movement integration. A part that comes from my background as a mover. I was a handball player. I was a fitness person in the
Mhm.
early 90s, and I was always been very interested in moving. I worked with Pilates 20 years back, etc., etc. So I really think there is a pillar that we need to address also working with the breath. That is how we breathe when we move. Not that we should coordinate anything like that, but we should be able to breathe while moving. And I don't talk about a run or a competition or something. I really talk about daily 24/7 movements, what we do in our life. And I meet many people that are able to breathe right here while listening. They are very
Right.
aware, they can breathe, but at the moment they are going to move, just walking up the stairs, tying their shoelaces, doing just normal basic movements, their breathing is stuck.
Well, I found that the people I work with in America, that
Mhm.
it must be the same over in Europe, that
Definitely.
we have lost our ability temporarily to link our breath with movement.
Mm,
They seem to separate, and the breath goes one way and a movement goes another, and we're not as
right.
efficient. We lose a posture. We disconnect from our legs. We don't have the stability of our
Mm,
legs on the ground.
mm,
So, a great place to start is linking breath with movement and then noticing where has the breath and the body moved away from each other and making a correction there.
mm. True, really.
So this diaphragm muscle is really an organ. It has
Mhm.
so many different responsibilities that it goes about very silently in balancing the gases and fluids internally for us that most folks I don't think have a clue in regard to how respiration is connected to digestion, how respiration is connected to a straight spine, how respiration is connected to a clear mind. All of these things are silently, unconsciously working behind our conscious mind to keep us alive, to raise our awareness, and to help us become a better person.
That is true. And that diaphragm is actually, it's like it's like a muscle.
It's a motor.
But it's not just a muscle, you know. Yeah,
Right.
it is a motor. And it's also like, in Denmark we have a word that is called mellemgulvet. You don't know what that is, but that
Nah.
is no, but that is the word for the diaphragm. But in English, it is like a floor. It is the floor in the middle of your. In Danish, that's not a really bad word actually, because when you think about the diaphragm as a floor, which is normally hard, you know, it's not bouncy, then you have to revise that. And in English, of course, we do not pronounce it a floor, but that's where I want to go now. That how we imagine in our brains, into our bodies, how we do imagine how the diaphragm works. I find that very important. So a very, a profound part of my work is about physical work, of course, freeing up the diaphragm, freeing up the ribs and the back and the front side, etc., the deep in the upper body, but it's also about being aware how that movement takes place. I mean, how that diaphragm moves inside of you. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, talking about the diaphragm, because I meet a lot of people. I've met so many people during the years who does not know how the diaphragm moves, and they do not know how the air goes in and out, and how the air comes in and out, exchanges in the lungs.
Right.
So, well, the diaphragm does the work. The lungs are elastic tissue, fascial tissue somehow, that really also is moved by the diaphragm.
Exactly. Everything moves. You know, out of all 610 muscles, there's no doubt that the diaphragm is the most important muscle to
Yeah.
utilizing the other 609 muscles.
Yeah, and I love the co-work with the diaphragm and the heart.
Yeah.
I love hearts. I always have hearts around me. My website, you will see me showing a heart, because that is kind of the sign. I need a heart. I need to feel the heart, because that makes me feel safe somehow. And if I feel safe, I might be able to breathe a little bit better.
Yeah. Takes
Um,
less
and
breaths per minute.
exactly, and the cooperation the diaphragm does with the heart is very, very unique. So how the heart follows a little bit while the diaphragm moves down, but it also creates more space for the heart. Yeah, so the flow, the rhythm, and then the lungs from the sides, they kind of cuddle the heart when you inhale. So that rhythm, and then it goes back, and the diaphragm cuddles the heart from the bottom, and the lungs release a little bit. So all that rhythmic cooperation, integration, nursing rhythm around the breath, creating the rhythm for the heart also, I find that amazing also to visualize.
Yeah.
But physically, it's so important that it works, because it's dictating almost every rhythm in the body.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if it's stuck right there, I mean, if it's stuck, if you are in a stuck rib cage, I typically use this one. I'm gonna do my toy now, because the breath and the heart needs that movement. When you breathe in, you get bigger. When you breathe out, it gets smaller.
Beautiful.
That story, you know. And the heart needs that rhythm, that pump. But if your rib cage is stuck and it's like here, it's like, oh, you can't really breathe, you know, and then everything is like not moving. The rhythm is blocked. You're in a survival breath somehow, and you can get used to breathe like that, of course, but it's not good. So the heart is really challenged also. Yeah.
Very interesting. You know, if folks out there find themselves with low energy or becoming a little lethargic and thinking they don't have the energy that they used to have, this is where we go to the diaphragm,
Yeah.
because the diaphragm is the primary driver of the amount of energy that you're going to have at any given moment
Mm.
during your conscious day when your eyes are open. And then
Mm.
when you blend that energy of the diaphragm with your other pillar, the vagus nerve, as you begin to activate your vagus nerve with more energy from the diaphragm, you
Mm.
become more energetic, but you have calm energy.
Yeah, perfectly explained. Right. That is amazing. Well, yeah, the vagus nerve. We always start talking about the vagus nerve because that is so crazy
Mhm.
important for our regulation, for everything, physically as mentally, the nervous system. So I love doing exercises like, well, I pronounce it like hacking the nervous system. So, well, I hack the vagus nerve somehow, through breath, of course, through breath and through touches and movements that vibrates or that moves or that kind of wakens up the vagus nerve. And
Yeah.
I also like to talk about the way the vagus nerve does not like to be stuck in a rib cage, like, you know,
Right.
in a body, a diaphragm or a rib cage that doesn't move. It's like it's not really move. It's just like here. And when you move, when you walk, when you use your body, you should move your thorax. You should move your spine. You should move your rib cage. The lungs are always in movement, not only
Mhm.
by the breathing, but also by your movements. And when you move well, all the way down to your hips, because the hip is another story, but all the way down to your hips, the vagus nerve loves it.
Yeah.
So the vagus nerve, of course, it's dependent on the way you use your diaphragm, but it's always also dependent on the way you move. If you move freely, if you're not stiff, when you a lot of people they walk and they do not move their upper body at all.
Hmm.
That is not good for the vagus nerve.
No, it loves movement. It loves it loves a nasal exhale.
Definitely,
It
definitely.
loves to vibrate the thyroid and the larynx and the pharynx and the trachea and
Yeah.
all these various systems that connect the upper and lower torso through the throat play
Mm,
such a huge role. This vibration in here, we
mm,
can self-regulate that and
definitely.
amplify vagal tone.
Can I go into that also a little
You can
bit
go
now?
wherever you want. It's your
Yeah.
podcast.
It is. So actually, I'd like to address one of my wishes for the breathing world, which is changing the paradigm a little bit around the right exercise.
Hmm.
So there was, as you did in your said in your introduction, there are thousands of different breath exercises out there. It's amazing. I love every little piece of it, and give me more. That's how it is. So, but my message now is I really like to um, to change the paradigm into not thinking about the right exercise for everybody, but there are exercises like that fits better to you and better to me and better to another person,
Hmm.
depending on where you are with
Hmm.
your breath and in your life and what you
Hmm.
need it for. And also, I like to work very individually. And I want to ask you, listeners, now actually to listen to your own breath the way that you listen to your inhale consciously, counting in your brain, in your head, like 1, 2, 3. You count in your own speed. I don't count for you. So you count how long does an inhale take? Not a right inhale, but your inhale,
Mm-hmm.
which feels comfortable for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that for a moment, and then I expand it a little bit. You, of course, you exhale also, because now you count your exhale also. The same one, the same count. You will count. How much do you count on your inhale? You are counting. Doesn't matter if it goes fast or slow count. You just have your own count. And when you exhale, you count also. So you end up with two numbers. Continue a little while now, counting the inhale and counting the exhale. Do not manipulate it right now, just what you do automatically. Some of you are imbalanced. You are having same inhale as exhale. Some of you might be just the opposite. So smaller inhale, longer exhale. Some of you might be equal on inhale, exhale. Some of you might be 4 in, 4 out. Some of you might be 4 in, 8 out. Some of you might be 2 in, 8 out. My message is we are all very different. Even though we are designed with the same body and the same lungs, the same diaphragm, the same anatomy, we are functionally using our breath preferably differently. That is the first learning session. And the next learning session is to understand that your unique breath rhythm right now is not wrong. That's yours. And you use it because it's you. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong. We live in the breath world also. Sometimes there's a right breath and there's a wrong breath. To me, it's like it's your breath, and we can work with that breath. We can expand it. We can work with it, and we can understand it a little bit. We could go into understand why do you have that short of an inhale, for example, and why do you love exhaling that much? Why is that so? I don't want to go into that right now, but we could go into trying to interpret it in every single individual story. So right now, what I want you to balance a little more. So I want you to work on elongating your inhale. If that was very short, then elongate it a little bit. And then if the exhale was very short, then elongate that one a little bit. So trying to equal out a little bit. And then when you've done that, then please work on a little bit longer exhale. And then we could work on manipulating, and we could go into individual exercises. I cannot do that on screen because I don't know who's listening, but it's just to make an idea on upon how I really love to work with the breath. That changing the paradigm a little bit about right or wrong, and the right
Mm-hmm.
exercise and wrong exercise. Yeah. I hope that made a little bit sense.
I love the way that you laid the foundation
Mm,
to simply don't try to control the breath,
mm,
simply watch what's occurring for you.
yeah.
And it's just information. And then
Yes.
once you get this baseline information, if you wanted to make adjustments,
Mm,
if you wanted to lengthen your inhale or
mm.
lengthen your exhale, there's a whole host of tools that you have
There are.
available to you for
Exactly.
physiological and psychological improvement.
Exactly. And it can go all the way from your hips, or it can go from your jaw, it can go from something else, it can go from the diaphragm. It can be many different stories and exercises to work with. Mm.
Well, the breath, the inhale and exhale are kind of like a seesaw.
Mm-hmm.
They push and pull on each other,
Mm-hmm.
and one will have an effect on the other.
Mm.
So, one of the ways that I can get people to lengthen their inhale without rushing it is at the end of the exhale, pause several seconds, put a
Mm.
little resistance on the line, and the body will naturally recoil like an accordion and
Mm.
take more air in.
Mm.
Or
I love that.
if you want the exhale to lengthen, inhale, inflate your lungs,
Mm.
hold the breath in several seconds,
Mhm.
Now that pressure is going to have to go somewhere from the breath hold internally, and that will organically and naturally let your exhale become longer, and it begins to occur without you using mental willpower.
Mm. I love that. Love that. Yeah, I
It's
do. Actually,
it's so
I
fun.
yeah, yeah, and I think I want to release uh, my my triangle breath. It's not mine, but it's very common. But it's just like I preferably use triangle breath before
Mhm.
using any box breathing or something
Right.
like that. Um, and the triangle breath is really after it's an expansion upon the one we just did before.
Let's try
It,
it.
yeah, let's try it. So we already did the first part of it, which were being aware of the inhale and the exhale. So right now we add a third awareness into it, which is holding our breath a little bit on after the exhale.
Mhm.
So we do now inhale. You might count to 4. I don't know. You decide. And you might count on the exhale immediately. You exhale. You might count into 6, 7, 8. And after you finish that exhale, you hold your breath on 2, 3, 4, whatever your carbon dioxide tolerance allows you.
Mhm.
And when you feel a little bit of an urge, not too much, but now you'd like to breathe in, then you breathe in. And please continue imagining and practically breathing into that triangle. And it might be in very many different triangles. I mean, if we're gonna draw everybody, so let's shut my mouth, Lotte, a little bit, so you can breathe.
Feels so good.
Mm. I love that anchor of the triangle because that creates a little bit more work with the carbon dioxide, with the
Well, notice
breath.
what the triangle shape
Mm-hmm.
brings to your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It brings balance, stability,
Mm-hmm.
focus.
Yeah, definitely. And I really want you guys to find your triangle right now today, and then you can expand it and work with it. And it might be a little different if you're walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a magnificent technique.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great place for folks to start to bring conscious awareness
Mm.
to the process of breathing,
Yeah.
and that you have the unique ability that's been gifted to you by the creator
Mm.
to control your breath if you want to. And if you don't want to control it, your
Mm.
autonomic nervous system will do it for you.
Yeah, it will.
No other animal on earth has that capability other than
No,
humans.
no, true.
And then that leads us to this amazing tissue, fibrous tissue
Mm.
called fascia.
Mm.
And fascia, this elastic fiber,
Mm.
collagen fiber, and
Mm.
how it's deeply connected
Mm.
to our breathing. And
It
there's
is.
many different types of fascia
Mm-hmm.
in our body, around our organs, around our muscles, bones, and joints, around even the fascia of the diaphragm muscle is
Definitely.
very unique on its
Yeah.
own electrical system.
It goes
And
all the way to the pelvic floor, actually.
yeah, so thinking about fascia and doing research
Mm.
on the fascia, I think will bear fruit for folks in their healthy trainings
Mm.
almost immediately.
Mm. It will. It will. My favorite programs in my work is really releasing that fascia, and it releases emotions. It releases the biomechanics, and not release. It improves the ability to working more into nose breathing, And actually, also when you like to work on your breath holds, which is very popular too and very beneficial somehow, then you also need to work into your fascial tissue, because if that is stuck, that's why it's the third pillar. If my in my seven pillars of the 3D breath, then the fascial tissue is the third pillar, is because then if the fascial tissue is stuck, you're really having a hard time evolving your breath and your
Right.
ability to nose breathe, your ability to breath hold, move with your breath, etc.
Well,
Mm.
the science of fascia
Mhm.
is very new.
It is. It is.
And it's much like breathing. Like, breathing's been around for thousands of years and ancient cultures were utilizing it. But the science of breath is only about really 35 to 40 years of research
Mm.
to look at.
Mm.
So the breath and fascia in the corporate medical world and athletic world are new
Mm.
avenues that
Mm.
I would suggest that everybody begin to look at.
Definitely.
People have this term muscle
Mm.
memory.
Mm.
It's a big term you hear in America. I have muscle memory. You don't have muscle memory. Your
No.
muscles don't have any memory.
No.
It's your fascia's memory that's
Yeah,
telling your muscles to move.
it is. And the fascial tissue is so intelligent.
It is.
It's it's at least 6 times more intelligent than any other tissue,
Yeah.
compared to the muscles, for example. So it's really alive, aware, and communicating. Yeah,
It's interesting because only humans and dolphins have this type of fascia with memory
that is crazy, isn't it?
out of every animal on the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's unique
Mm,
to this planet, and anything that's unique to this planet needs to be investigated, needs
true.
to be researched.
Yeah, true. And it's amazing how much they have released. The researchers have released this fascial tissue for us, guys, for us the last 10 years, around 10, 15 years.
It's fascinating. They don't even know what it is.
No.
I mean, they have some ideas and clues about what it does at the anatomical, biomechanical, and biochemical level,
Yeah,
but it's going to open up so many different healing modalities to some
really.
of the struggles that we see with folks in the medical world.
Yeah, yeah,
So this
definitely.
so this box breathing, what's that
Mhm.
all about?
Oh yeah, I forgot to say a word about that. I want to say that, yes, of course. Well, I think it's not that I want to put it to the sea. I mean, I don't want to put it into the dustbin or anything, but I think that box breathing was created not for normal people. I mean, it was created somehow for the extreme soldiers,
The army,
the army. That is the right, yeah. So and it is, um, people that are, um, quite good breathers for a start.
mhm,
They need to be quite good breathers, otherwise they cannot do their work. So I think the box breathing is uniquely good for those kind of people and for people that are a good breather. But for all of the people that do not use the breath optimally and are struggling with parts of the breath or bits and pieces, they often have a hard time. I work a lot in the schools, for example. One of my main projects in Denmark is trying to get the schools to regulate their nervous systems and, helping out the kids and the young people and the adults working, regulating the nervous system, through breath and body. And normally, when I ask, what kind of breathing exercise did you already do? And they say to me, well, we did the box breathing, but they got dizzy and they don't like it and we don't really succeed doing it. All right, I say. okay, maybe that is because it's the wrong exercise for you guys. And we're back into what kind of exercise is the best one for you to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my point. So I do not use the box breathing for many people because I do not normally work with performance people that already have a good foundation of breath. I
Mm-hmm.
normally work with people that are struggling more. And what happens with the box breathing is because when you do your fixed 4 counts on the inhale, your fixed 4 counts on the breath hold on top of that, and the fixed 4 count exhale, and then the fixed 4 counts hold your breath on the top of the bottom of the exhale. Then that might fit into 1 out of 10. And the other guys, they should do their own individual rhythm for a start.
Mm-hmm.
And the breath hold on top of the inhale is a sympathetic action. So if you want your nervous system quickly to uh, swap into the parasympathetic system, the rest and digest, the peace system, I would not make a breath hold on top of the inhale, which does the opposite. That
Mm-hmm.
is physiologically what's going on. The nervous system is sympathetic driven when you breathe in.
Mm-hmm.
I would do the breath hold after the exhale
Mm-hmm.
instead. That would be my main focus, like the triangle one I did. So I
Right.
preferably want people to balance and then first of all elongate the exhale. That is the main focus. First of all, elongate the exhale. And when you're ready to do a breath hold, then you can do your breath hold after your exhale.
Right.
And then do that triangle. And then you can continue into a box breathing.
That's a great way of harnessing the power of carbon dioxide. People forget that you're exhaling as much oxygen as you're inhaling. You're exhaling
Yeah.
CO2 and you're inhaling O2.
Yeah.
Most folks, their exhale muscles are very, very weak. And this is why there's anxiety, a higher heart rate, higher blood pressure,
Yeah.
why they're not burning fat, why they have
Yeah.
glucose levels that are spiking up and down all day long.
Yeah. Well,
So
I've been, yeah.
I love the way you're teaching that
Mm,
because most folks aren't ready for box breathing and it actually causes too much sympathetic activity. So
definitely.
you've got four numbers basically. You've got an inhale, you've got
Mm,
a hold, and you've got
mm,
an exhale, and you've got a hold.
mm,
So just say work with even numbers, numbers that add, subtract, multiply, divide evenly with each other. Don't use
mm,
odd numbers.
mm.
So you could start with inhale 4,
Yeah.
hold 2, exhale 4, hold
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
If there's no problem with that,
Yeah.
then inhale 4, hold 3, exhale 4, hold out for 3, and then work your way into your box breath. So
Thanks for
there's
clearing that.
thousands of different sequences of
Yeah.
holdings and
Yeah.
lengths of inhales and exhales that you can put in the formulas
Yeah.
to self-regulate, to take
That,
care of your heart and
mm,
amplify your nervous system's ability to deal with the rigors of life.
true. I've been working very much into the carbon dioxide area the last
Mhm.
years through my close partnership with Anders Olsson
Oh,
from
wonderful.
Conscious Breathing in Sweden. Yeah. So I really think there is a thing we need to understand around breath exercises and working with different humans and different people is this carbon dioxide tricky thing going on, and it is basically how do you tolerate carbon dioxide. And
Mhm.
if you do not work into your level of what you tolerate and push that a little bit, of course, but if you do not accept it and if you do not work seriously into that level, you will not benefit from a certain exercise.
Right. Well, what I like to bring to folks' attention is that improvement occurs on the exhale. This is where I want you to pay attention because this is where your story is unwinding. This is where you're available to grow. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, the inhale is great. Remember, your body's going to inhale on its own. You know, your body is designed to inhale on its own. You cannot commit suicide by holding your breath. Your body will eventually inhale from the brainstem. The magic of life occurs during the exhale. So lengthen it and don't miss it.
True.
So if folks want to work with you, how can they get a hold of you on this globe called Earth?
Well, I'm in my little office right now here in just outside Copenhagen, but I do have an international website. I have a big Danish website, been doing programs for the last 15 years, also television at the moment. So, but in my English spoken language, I work on 3D breath. It's a 3 and the letter D and breath.com. That is my international side. And I do have a blog, a hard blog, where I do have more podcasts and more information about my work. And I do have online programs actually with this towel and the Vegas program and a stress release program, etc. And I produce more things coming up, and then I'm at the Breath Source app, of course. Yeah.
Well, in the show notes, we're going to have all sorts of ways that people can connect with you and the amazing works and props that you're using to help folks live a longer, happier, healthy life. Lotte, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting and the trust and the interest in my work.
The work you're doing is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.